Hey y'all, how's it going guys? Welcome back to my video on retro vlogs. How y'all doing? On today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys everything you guys need to know on maintenance when it comes to your 80cc two-stroke bike from front to back. So let's get on into it. Alrighty guys, so we are on the first thing that you guys should do on like the first thing of when it comes to maintenance on these bikes. Personally, the first thing I would do when it comes to maintenance is head bolts, tying up or re-tying the head bolts. Why? I'll explain why. So as many of you guys know, if for those of you who don't know, for the new guys, this bike, this motor is Chinese. This motor is an eBay Chinese motor, right? And I got this off of eBay, like the cheapest one there was like 120 bucks or something, right? So, and a lot of you guys also know that it came broken. Long story short, my magneto was not connected to my crankshaft with the key. It wasn't connected, so it was not working, and it took me 3 months to realize that. So that really sucked, and it took me like 7 months to realize that my head bolts were not tying all the way. They weren't hand tight. They're just a little bit tighter than hand tight, and that's not what they're supposed to be at. They should be at 10 to 15 pounds, most likely 12 pound-feet of torque. So that goes on to what's the first thing you need to do. What you would want to do is want to get your impact, your what's it called, your torque wrench. You want to get your torque wrench. Go on here and tighten these bad boys up to 15 pound-feet of torque. So after you guys are done with that, not much else to really do here. Just make sure that they're exactly at the 10 or 12 pound-feet of torque. And if I'm wrong, make sure to correct me in the comments. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but if I'm wrong, please tell me. Please tell me in the comments. But that's pretty much it. On to the next one. Oh yeah, one quick little tip before we move on to the next thing. For your head bolts, when you guys go and run your engine for the first time again, after you guys do the whole maintenance procedure, go tighten your head bolts right back and check them again. And if they're a little bit more loose, then tighten them up back again, obviously. So that way, when the engine cools off again and the metal expands, it'll create a nice and tight seal for the gasket. So yeah, just a little tip right there. Now we're going on to the next one, which brings us to the spark plug. Since we're already in this general area, let's go to spark plugs. So obviously, this is very common. Like, this is something you do in every single gasoline engine. Check your spark plugs. So what I gotta do is you just want to take off your boot like that. Get your socket, your spark plug socket. I have a Champion in here. The one that comes with these motorbikes is a yin yang, or whatever the hell those things are called. And they require something like this, if not the one that came stock, this one. But none of these work on mine since I got a Champion and it's a lot bigger. So I need a half. So wait, half? No, I need a 21. So drop this sucker in here. I need to get my vice grip because I don't have really any other way to pull this out, obviously, because I can't fit anything like a wrench, anything there. So I just use my vice grip on the sides and pull it out.
A few moments later.
Oh crap. Oh, that's all the lubricant I shoved in there because the spark plug is kind of stuck. So quick tip, another tip now that we're here. If you guys are in a situation that I'm in right now where you have a high compression head and it's hitting your frame and you can't get so say this is here, right, and you can't get your wrench or anything in here, what I did was I basically got my grinder. I cut off two sides, really old. This is one of the first tricks in the book. You cut it off two sides. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough to where you can get something like an adjustable wrench, put it there, and like you just saw me demonstrate, you can twist it off that easy. But yeah, that took a lot of lubricant and WD-40. So let me clean all this stuff up. But now that we're here, spark plug does not look that bad. Obviously has a little bit of carbon on it due to, well, you know, it's a two-stroke, so it burns oil and whatever. A little bit on the rich side, as you can see. It is very much more rich than it should be, but I'm gonna get to fixing that up once we get to the carburetor in the next few things that we need to do. That's also another thing we need to do. So what I like to do here, I like to get my what's it called? I like to get some. I don't have it on me right now, but I like to get a sandpaper and sand down. It's just a quick way to just get all this carbon residue off, and get this little get something small enough like this. And as I show you right now, I'll just do it. You just wedge it in over here. Be gentle, remember, this is like delicate, you know, stuff. And with the same thing, you just like, you know, just start picking off all this carbon and stuff. And once it's clean enough, you can stuff it back in and you'll be good to go. But what you should also do is, if you have an extra spark plug, just replace the spark plug altogether. If you have a new one, I don't have a new one on me right now, so, and this doesn't look that bad. It's a Champion anyway, so it's gonna last me a lot more longer than this. So with that being said, once you get your everything, you know, ready to go, you just slide it back in, and you're basically done with your spark plug. On to the next one. All right, everyone, we have made it to the third thing we need to do for maintenance. The third thing we need to do for maintenance on these bikes is carburetor. Obviously, carburetor is basically one of the, it's literally the blood and oxygen of your bike. Without, like, you know, it being dirty, most two-stroke like problems come from the carburetor. It's mostly always gas and fuel. If it's not electricity, it's gas and fuel. So make sure that you clean that up. I have a video on how to clean and give it a little bit more power. If you want to go check that out, it's right here. Pretty good video. I think it's an older one though, so don't mind how I talk and whatever back then. But anyway, yeah, make sure you clean your carburetor, which is this right here. Make sure to clean that individually. Like, just basically what you gotta do is you take it apart, clean everything up with some carb cleaner. Make sure to get your jet, spray through all that stuff. And once you have everything dried up for a couple like minutes or half an hour or whatever, put it all together and make sure everything goes right to where it is again. I have a whole video dedicated to that up above here, so make sure to check that out. Anyway, on to the next one. Alrighty guys, so the next thing you want to do after you do your carburetor, what is gonna be tying up all your bolts. So if you guys are lucky like me, right, like I mentioned earlier, I got my my motor on eBay, and my motor just so happened to has the Allen bolts instead of the crappy shitty little Phillips heads and flatheads. I got the Allen bolts. So if you don't have this kind, it's the same procedure, you know, just do the same thing just with that screwdriver or flathead. But just know, you know, I'm just letting you know that it kind of sucks compared to these. But anyway, if you're lucky enough, or you bought a PK80 or something like that that comes with a good hardware, go get yourself a handful of Allen wrenches, because you're gonna need them. So you're gonna need a handful of Allen wrenches, right? Why? Because you're gonna need to tie in every single Allen bolt on this motor. Make sure that every single one of them is tight, not too tight, just, you know, a little, just well rounded, not hand tight, but nowhere too tight where you're about to strip it. So yeah, make sure you tie in all your Allen bolts up. Very essential. I'm talking the ones that connect, that keep the case connected, like the crankcase connected. You got your, I'm gonna show you right now. So you got these ones, you got these four, these three holding your clutch arm in place. You got all of the ones holding your clutch, your clutch cover together. You got these over here, which has to do with the what I mentioned earlier, the crankcase and like the engine mount and all that stuff. All of these, tying those up. Reason being because obviously these two strokes vibrate like hell, so you want them to be nice and tight, because something could get loosen and not in the right time and nor in the right place. So make sure that that's all tying up. Speaking on that, move on to other things. For example, your exhaust, your intake, and your mounting bolts. In this case, even my mounting plate that connects to my chassis, because I have a OCC chopper. It's not normal, not your average type of bicycle. So anything really that has to be tight at a certain point to where, you know, that gets a lot of vibration, anything like that, check it. Because again, things happen and you don't want to be stranded on the side of the road with no tools and have something broken, or have something just that fell off and it was loose and you can't tighten it with your hand, obviously. So make sure to get all those things done. And on that note, on to the next one. All right, so with that, I think we are almost done with the motor. Now everything else, the only thing that's left to check on the motor when it comes to maintenance will have to be your gaskets. Gaskets. I've had a very good time with gaskets on this bike. When it comes to the exhaust gasket, hell no. I've always hated that gasket. Even the ones that they make, even the ones that you buy online, they suck. So I just stuck to making my own, and they've worked out just fine. But anyway, that's aside. That's just my personal opinion on them. What you guys need to know is how to check if they're broken or not, and if they're broken, how to replace them. So I'm not gonna be demonstrating that right now because, again, I don't want to touch my gaskets. My gaskets are my head gasket. I recently put on, obviously, because I put on this Highcompresionhead like 2 months ago. So obviously I know that gasket's fine, and I just torqued it down. Plus, if you have a leak in your head gasket, you would definitely realize the motor would have absolutely no compression. Intake gasket, I don't know if that's broken. You'll just have like a really lean mixture. So basically your motor will literally just flop once you start revving it out. It will just flop, and that's because it's a lean mixture, and it's really bad. It could cause scoring, all that stuff. So that's how you realize for that. Exhaust gasket being ruptured is the easiest one to detect. You can literally look at it right when it's running, and you'll instantly realize because you'll see smoke coming out of it. So like little smoke coming out of it. Plus, when you're riding it, you'll instantly hear it. Like, it just sounds a lot more like you'll hear like the combustion right next to your ear. Like it's that loud. Like the bike becomes that loud when the exhaust gasket blows out. So that's how you know to check for that. Start the bike, check it, you'll see the smoke come out, and if it doesn't, then you are good. But if you guys are not a complete like me, go ahead and check it, take your exhaust off. But I'm not taking mine off because I swore I'm never taking it off after I fixed it, and that's what I'm doing, because nah, until there's another problem, I won't touch that. But anyway, that's basically the last thing. Gaskets. This gasket that holds between the jug and the crankcase right here. You got your head gasket, intake, and exhaust. You got a gasket right here for your magneto. I don't know why there's a gasket there really, but there's a gasket there. I'm pretty sure it's to protect anything from getting inside, possibly, and ruining the magneto. You got that, and of course, your clutch gasket right here. And that's pretty much it when it comes to gaskets. Oh, and I guess if you want to count, I mean, your fuel bowl gasket, but you guys already saw that when you guys supposedly did the maintenance on to clean the carburetor earlier. But that's pretty much it on all the gaskets on the bike. Make sure that they're not ruptured, broken, or anything. And with that, you should be fine on gaskets. Now that we're done with the motor, now it's just maintenance on the actual bike. A lot of people just skip over this because maybe their bike is new or whatever. My bike is 10 plus years old. This thing is old. What you want to do is the same procedure on your bike. Basically, for example, tying up your forks right here. For example, me, for any of you guys that have the same bike, these right here, they tend to get loose a lot. This is fine. This never gets loose. This tends to get loose. These ones on the side, everything that has to do with the fork assembly tends to get loose. Maybe that's just mine, I'm not sure, but mine's, yeah, they suck. Obviously your wheel will hold your wheel, obviously. But apart from that, on this chassis, that's pretty much the only thing that will let you down. The forks in the front, that's the only thing I've had a problem with So yeah, on that note, make sure to check all your screws and whatever, because again, these two strokes vibrate like crazy, and vibration is basically what kills a motor. Vibration is basically what kills the actual whole entire build altogether. So make sure that they're all tied in, and you know, keep a good eye on that. Speaking of vibration and whatever, onto the chain assembly. Oh man, the chain. So here we go. We have these little things called rag joints on our bikes. I'm running right now a 36-tooth Sprocket, if anyone was wondering. This is what holds the sprocket onto the spokes of this rim, and basically what keeps this from running. So basically how you check these is you would just take your finger like this, right? You would try to bend them back like that. If you feel that any one of them are loose in any way, then you just hold the head of the bolt and then tighten up the nut in the back, and you should be fine. And be careful if you by tying it up a little bit too much, because number one, cheap bolts, they'll break, they're Chinese, and number two, you'll make your sprocket wobbly, and that's no good because your chain will fall off while you're going 20-30 miles an hour, which is not good at all. You'll send your piston through the moon if you do that. Make sure that your chain tensioner is also tightened. Mine just so happens not next to the spokes, but I've heard people say that their chain tensioner literally just folds inwards during riding and destroys the whole spoke assembly, and just absolutely just, you know, wrecks the whole bike, totals it. It's total the bike. So make sure that you have these two things tightened. Mine is not really much of a problem if it gets loose, also because my frame is square and not round. So since it's square, it just does not let it go anywhere else. So that's a plus on these chassis. This right here, make sure that this is tightened so that way you don't lose tension on your chain. I gotta tension my chain anyway. After you're done with that, after you're done with the bike and whatever, like tighten up like handlebars, forks, chain tensioner, sprocket in the back, all that stuff. Gotta remember, your bikes run on bearings, right? These things have bearings, and bearings, remember, these bikes are going at 20 plus 30 miles an hour, right? Bikes were not, these pedal bikes are not made for that. No, I don't think on an average you can't run 30 miles an hour pedaling for like, you know, 5 minutes straight full throttling on these things, right? So on that note, make sure to go check them. I'll teach you right now how to check your bearings. The frame is straight, like the spokes are straight, right? So if you get your wheel and you can like shake it back and forth like that, like I'm not talking forward, I'm talking back and forth like this, your bearings are not in the greatest shape, or they're just not tightened. So basically the easiest fix to that is you get these two nuts in here, right there and right there on the other side right there, and you just tighten them up and you should be fine. I gotta do that later, or replace the bearings altogether. In the back is the same procedure. Not much difference. Not much different. It's a little bit easier too, because all you gotta do is just hold the frame itself. Now this varies on bike to bike, but I'm pretty sure it's similar on pedal and like normal pedal bikes. So if I get this, mines are not screwed because I replaced mine recently, like a couple months ago. So mine are good, but make sure that that is up to date. Who is calling me? Give me a second. All right, guys, I'm back. I just had to attend to some family and whatever. Anyway, now it's time to get some grease, some lube, and lube up some parts. We're gonna be lubing up the clutch assembly. Get ready to get dirty because this is about to get pretty messy. All right, check it out. So we're at the clutch right now. So first things first, let's get all these bolts out of the way. But we got all of this out. As you can see, there's still some lube from last time that I lubed this up, so that's good. Unfortunately, most of it is just all gunked up in here, so let me clean that out real quick. All right, our clutch cover is a lot cleaner. Now it's time to open up this brand spanking new grease Okay, here we go, just like the old one, which is good. So what you want to get is, get a little bit of like 2 or 3 dabs on your finger. Slide it onto this gear right here as best as you can, and then spin the back wheel. You get 2 or 3 dabs again, and you just stick it right there, all around the gear. It's dry right there, so you get 2 or 3 dabs, mush it all in there. And with that, you are pretty much done lubing up your clutch. Should be done with your clutch. With that being said, you are completely done with maintenance on your ACC 2-stroke bike. Let me know if this video was any help to you guys. I hope it was. That's just personally how I do maintenance. You guys might do maintenance completely different. I know for sure that we all have something in common when it comes to maintenance on our bike. Well, it could be the spark plug, carburetor, every head bolts, anything. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop the video a like, comment down below what your favorite part of the video was, and subscribe if you want some more, because I'm gonna be bringing some more with this bike very soon. So with that being said, until next time, peace. Real quick before I end this video, also forgot one last thing. Lubricate your chain. Your chain gets really grummy and rusty and whatever when water gets on it, depending on where you ride or whatever. It just gets really grummy over time. So get yourself some lubricant or some WD-40. I just also happened to run out just now, but lubricant works just fine. Get yourself some lubricant, spray it down, and you should be fine. Wipe off the excess stuff just dripping down, and you should be cool. Bye this time.